happening?
No, not a lot, no.
Morning, men.
Morning, Gov.
Bright and early?
Yeah, well, got to do it right for the new boss, Ted. Till the novelty wears off. Any news on the obbo?
Tosh is back having breakfast. Nothing happened last night.
Right, well, I may need some more feet on the street later. Stir things up a bit. You in on this one, Viv?
No, I'm in court this morning, the Holden case.
What, the rape? Mm-hmm. Well, that's just the committal, isn't it?
Yeah, but they want to go at our witness, so I said I'll see her through it.
Social work?
I said Viv should see this one through. It's useful experience for her. It's the sort of thing we ought to be doing for a rape victim.
All right. They'll be available this afternoon.
Morning, Gordon.
Morning, sir.
Well, I shall need to introduce you to the troops. When you've had a chance to claim your desk, drop in for a coffee. Lots to chat over.
Thanks, I will.
You'll find us a first-rate bunch to work with, I hope.
I'm sure I shall, sir.
Oh, I'd lock your car if I were you. Morning.
Tosh! Go. You going for a bit more work?
I'll have to send my wife a photo if I don't go home soon. We are talking overtime, are we?
Of course we are. And you'd be well advised to grab it while you can, pal. I don't know how this new DCI is going to shape up over budgets.
Well, speaking on behalf of my bank manager, I'll volunteer.
WBC Martella?
Yes.
Julian Bates, representing the CPS in the Holden case?
We spoke on the phone.
We did indeed. Our witness hasn't identified herself to me.
No, I haven't seen her yet.
I hope it's been made clear to her that without her deposition today, there's no case to answer.
She understands. She'll be here. What are we up against?
I think that covers all the protracted investigations we're involved in. And you got a copy of the monthly figures. Oh, yeah, and I thought I'd like to keep you up to speed with what's going down today. This is the file for the target villain.
Yes, Frank. Now, when are we going to have our chat?
Yeah, well, I've got to go out on inquiries now, and you want to digest that lot.
I don't want to pick over the nuts and bolts, Frank. I want to talk philosophy.
Yeah, well, I don't know when I'll be back.
We'll make time, Frank. Later today.
As you know, the defence have opted for a Section 6-1 committal, so the magistrate has to examine the evidence. It's not just a formality.
There's no argument about the forensic, though, or mine and Sergeant Roach's statements.
They're admitting all that at this stage. At Crown Court, it might be a different story. But they want to cross-examine Marine.
And knock her credibility? Make it look like consent?
I'm sure that's their strategy. But at the committal, they don't have to put forward their defence. Gives them a chance to probe our witness, see how she stands up to questioning.
But there's a limit to what they can say about the complainant in a rape case.
Yes, but the defence counsel can create an impression by their line of questioning. And some counsel are better placed to create that impression than others.
I mean, if Tosh had said there was only one chair, I would have brought something from home.
Well, stake Tosh was in, he didn't know whether he was cleaning his teeth or blowing his hooter.
A couple of cushions.
Here. Oh, cheers. Or a lilo, they're good.
I don't possess a lilo.
Old Tosh was so knackered I reckon they could have driven a wagon up this street and had the gear away without him noticing.
James Martin.
She's here. That's Marie.
Fine. You'll explain?
Sure. Marie.
Hi. You all right? Yeah, where do I have to go?
Come and sit down. You can wait here till you're called. The CPS know you're here.
I thought I wouldn't get all this aggravation till the proper trial. You said it would be months.
No, what I said was most committals go through on the nod, but the defence can ask the prosecution to put one or all of their witnesses up. And this time they've asked for you.
I've told you everything. It's all in the statement. I mean, what else can I say?
The defence want to ask you about the statement, and they also want to check out how good you are as a witness.
They'll be calling me a liar.
They're not likely to get really nasty at this stage, but they'll be picking away and raising doubts. You've got to be strong and confident and stick to your story.
Do you know what he's like, the lawyer? The geezer bloke who'll be having a go at me.
Barrister. And it's not a geezer, it's a woman. The blonde talking to Matthew Holden.
Terrific.
I want everyone to understand that I'm in the business of crime management. We'll be talking manpower and resources, budgeting, public relations, and looking after the needs of the victims. The days of Jack the Lad doing the business on the streets and in the boozers out of all control and supervision are definitely numbered.
Stone with Rouse. Mr. Burnside.
Wish I worked your hours, Charlie.
You better come in. It's a bit casual, Mr. Burnside. Turfing up on the doorstep. Give me a bell, I'll meet you somewhere sensible.
Don't tell me how to do the business, pal. Fat Eric had it away with 50 cases of gold watch off an Arctic on the A1.
It's news to me, Squire.
The driver was in for a drink. Steve the Bubble was going to fence the Scotch through his cash and carry, but a wheel came off the deal. So now Fat Eric can't unload, which means the gear is on the ground. And I want to know where.
It don't sound right to me, Mr. Burnside.
I don't want your opinion, Charlie. I want your information.
I don't know nothing.
Well, in that case, get your strides on and get out there and find out, you lazy git.
Buy yourself a drink out of the change, Nobby.
Very kind of you. I'll have one later.
So you'll let me know then?
Depend on.
I mean, you've been in the trade.
Yeah, right.
And Fat Eric being known to pass this way.
Enough said.
Cheers.
You said they can't ask. I mean, they can't turn your whole life inside out, can they? You said to me...
There are strict limits to what they can ask you about your previous sex life. Unless...
Marie Summers!
Yes.
It's all going to be all right, honestly. Don't worry. I'll be in there too. Come on.
Here. Do you think Fat Eric will fall for it?
Well, Burnside couldn't tie up two bodies here much longer. He either had to wind Eric up or forget about him and settle for the gear.
And Burnside wants Eric because...
it's Eric's turn.
It's a game, innit, eh?
Tosh, you've been in on this Eric Carmody caper, can you... Tosh?
What's the matter? Oh, sorry, boss. I must have just dropped off for a minute.
Quick word, Tosh. In the office.
I'm sorry about that. I just blinked and I was asleep.
When did you book on, Tosh?
Last night for the elbow. Tuesday, that'd be.
Today's Thursday.
Oh, well, the night before then.
You've been on for more than 36 hours.
Exigencies of service, boss.
As far as I can see, it's all in aid of nailing some cheap jump-up artist named Eric Carmody.
Well, Fat Eric's a bit more than that, boss.
Yeah. Well, whatever he is, give him a rest, Tosh. Go home.
I can't. Mr. Burnside wants me to work for him this afternoon.
I don't care if Jesus wants you for a sunbeam. Book off.
I can't.
Just do it.
One minor point I'd like to clear up, Miss Summers. You describe your occupation as temporary secretary. Is this your only source of income?
I don't know what you mean.
Are you on the books of any other kinds of agencies?
No, just the one secretarial agency.
I'm not speaking of secretarial agencies. Are you on the books of the Starlight Escort Agency?
Well, I did do a bit of that when I first came to London.
You see, my information is that you're still registered with them.
Well, I never got around to taking my name off, I suppose.
Thank you for clearing that up, Miss Summers. Now I'd like to move on to other matters.
So Tosh and I have been putting the word around that we know Fat Eric's got the gear, but we don't know where. Now, I talked to Charlie Wales. I got right up his nose.
So he'll be straight round to Fat Eric. Do you reckon that'll spook Eric into shifting it off the ground?
Well, I've got to do something to time into it. Now, if he does move, he's going to move fast. which means I'm going to need troops this afternoon. You in?
Well, I've got my pep talk with our glorious leader this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, me and all. But this is business, Ted. First things first, eh? Hello, Alistair. Tosh back yet?
Yeah, he's been back, but the boss sent him home.
Oh, the boss did that, did he?
So to be quite clear, Miss Summers, your relationship with Matthew Holden was a fully sexual one. You'd had intercourse with him.
Yes.
On how many occasions?
I don't know.
More than you can count.
Objection.
Miss Summers, when you were going out with the defendant, did you go to bed with him regularly, as a normal part of your relationship?
Yes.
Carry on, Miss Flaxen Green.
Thank you for elucidating the point, Your Worship. Now, Miss Summers, your statement and the forensic evidence draws attention to the fact that during the alleged rape, you were almost fully clothed.
The forensic evidence has been admitted by the defence, Your Worship.
It has indeed been admitted, and it is no part of our intention to challenge that evidence. I merely wish to examine the interpretation that the prosecution puts on the facts.
Carry on.
The evidence, which is not disputed, is that when intercourse took place on the night in question, your dress was pushed up around your waist and only your knickers and tights were removed. The prosecution claims that this was to make it easier for the defendant who was holding you down forcibly at the time. But there was nothing unusual about your having clothed intercourse with the defendant, was there?
Please answer the question, Miss Summers.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
I'll try to make myself perfectly clear. When you and Matthew Holden made love in the rather cramped conditions of his car on at least 2 occasions, you remained almost fully clothed, did you not?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, do you remember the occasion when you and the defendant made love in a bedroom at the home of Matthew Holden's friend, Peter Sykes, during a party? The room was being used to store the coats.
Yes, I remember.
Did you undress to any degree then?
No.
So when you and the defendant made love, you were hardly in the habit of standing upon ceremony.
Objection, Your Worship.
I withdraw the question. I realise it was phrased in such a way as might be thought sarcastic and offensive.
But Tosh loves the old overtime. He can't get enough of it.
The man was dead on his feet.
Tosh has to flog himself. He's got a missus, 6 kids, and a big fat overdraft.
Well, he won't have a family much longer if he never goes home. And you know what a divorce will do for his overdraft.
Let's just say we don't see eye to eye on this one, sir.
We'll foreground a lot of contentious issues when we meet this afternoon, Frank.
Your Worship, my client does not propose to give evidence or call on any witnesses and reserves his defence until the trial.
Is our bloke going to put him through the ringer now? No. The defendant doesn't have to say anything.
Stand up, Matthew Holden. You are committed to the Central Criminal Court to stand trial on this charge of rape.
Look, I know she gave you a bit of a rough time in there. But that's nothing to what happens in the trial, right? You did all right, Marie. Honest. They're bound to go into your history with Matthew, but as long as you stick to your story about what happened on the night, that's what matters. Oh, yeah? Sure. Look, can you hang on here a minute? I just want to have a quick word with the CPS, Marie.
It's all right when I sit still, but when I move...
Tricky things, Bax. Trivial strain like that can mean a lifetime of recurrent agony.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think I could get out on a pension on health grounds?
That all depends. How bent are you? You got something? Yeah. Sierra Oscar. Sierra Oscar from Dashwood.
I know what I said, Gov, but I didn't get a chance to talk to Marie after the hearing. She legged it while I was with CPS. Now there's a message she wants to see me. Urgently.
I think she should go, Frank. Victim support. We don't seem to have been too strong in that area.
Right. Well, you better get on with it then, hadn't you? Salvation Army, Sister Anna speaking. Now you pillock, this is Burnside. What now? I'm on my way. Say, they're loading the gear.
Here, hold this, mate, will you?
If they finish before we get assistance...
We can take them. If your back can stand a bit of work.
Dashwood from Sierra Oscar 8.
Go on, Gov.
I'm in position. You were sighted, Michael. You call it.
Hold on, Gov. Waiting for Ted.
Mike, they're about to move.
Which way are they pointing?
Away from the governor.
Dashwood from Sierra Oscar 5.
Go on, Ted.
In position.
Sierra Oscar 5 and 8, go!
Get up!
Come on.
All right, Tommy. Don't be a prat. You took your time, didn't you?
I've done my backing, Gov. I'm in agony.
Oh, for God's sake, don't tell Wray. He'll send you out to bed for a month. With no overtime. You know Tommy Lawrence, don't you? Fat Eric's brother-in-law.
All I am saying is thanks for your help and everything, but I just want to drop it.
But it's not down to you to just drop it. This is a crime, not a civil action. It's the Crown prosecuting Matthew Holden, not you.
Yeah, well, he didn't rape the Crown, did he? They can't do much without me.
Have you been telling us the truth?
Yes.
But then he's guilty. Why do you want to let him get away with it?
Because it is not worth it. Not what that cow is going to throw at me in court.
They're only supposed to ask you about your previous relationship with the defendant.
Do you know how I met Matthew? The first time I went to bed with him?
No.
It was his birthday. His mates had a party for him in this wine bar in the city. They got me off the agency for him. I mean, I was his present.
Yeah, well, I suppose they're bound to bring that up.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have gone with him if I hadn't liked him. Anyway, after that, we went out together. I mean, he wasn't paying me for it. But they are just going to make me out to be a total slag.
Look, that's not the issue, Marie. The point is what happened on that particular night. We've put men away who've raped girls that work on the streets. They've still got a right to say no.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't care what's said about them in front of a gang of strangers, but I do. That Flaxton Green gave me a whiff of what's lined up, and I don't want it.
Look, Marie, look, just...
I don't care if Tommy Lawrence has got a brief. I don't care whether he's got Sir David Napley. He will grasp Fat Eric before the day is out.
You reckon?
He's his brother-in-law.
Sure, it's a choker, Viv, but, well, if it came to trial, the odds are against conviction when there's been an ongoing relationship.
But that's never going to change if rape victims don't get up and fight it.
Comes to something, Ted, when the crime squad read the women's page in The Guardian.
Leave it out, will you, Gov? I'm not in the mood.
Hang on, are we talking about Holden? I thought it was going to trial.
Marie Summers is withdrawing her complaint. She got a whiff of what the defence is going to throw at her.
But there'll be reporting restrictions. Her name won't get out. Didn't you explain that to her?
Yes, of course I did! What do you take me for?
Mind you, if you got a confession out of Holden in the first place, Ted, we wouldn't have had all this aggravation.
Confessions are not what they used to be, Governor. Or hadn't you noticed?
Frank? Would this be a good time for our little chat?
Viv's really gutted about this one, Ted. I don't think she meant...
Yeah, I know. I'll have a word with her.
I don't want to pick the bones out of practices and personalities in Sun Hill CID, Frank. I want to talk about our culture.
Do I get that in my lap if I sit down here?
Sorry. Got out of order upstairs, Sarge.
It happens like that sometimes, mid-afternoon. I was going to say that I'm as sick about the Holden case as you are, but it wouldn't be true. Oh, I'm sick about it, all right. But I draw a line. You've got to.
You didn't spend all that time with the victim.
No, but there is a limit. You help the victim, sure. But you don't become the bloody victim. That's a shortcut to a burnout.
I can take care of myself.
You wouldn't have come this far if you couldn't. You just remember, it's your first priority.
But we know what we're here for. We're thief takers, we nick villains.
I don't want to hear canteen wisdom about it, Frank. I want some research done and a paper on my desk telling me what's going on so I can report progress.
Yes, sir.
And there's the racial attacks on the Jasmine Allen estate.
Oh, that old chestnut.
That attitude is exactly the signal they're picking up from us, Frank. It's not doing us one bit of good out there.
Well, don't tell me you want that researched.
That's right.
Look, you talk about budgets. I mean, if we're going to get involved in all this, then something else has got to go.
Well, take this Eric Carmody caper today.
We got a result.
You'd already located the property, now some of it's gone missing.
That was breakages.
God knows what resources went into setting up Eric Carmody. Just because he was overdue. That's not the way I'm going to run this department, Frank.